and welcome to this session of class 9 mathematics. Last class we saw triangles, introduction to triangles meaning three angles, the figure consisting three angles, and the three angles are made up of line segments we saw. Okay, given any three non-collinear points, that is the points which do not lie on the same line are called collinear points, we know. So given any three non-collinear points, if we join them, we get a triangle. So when we join two points, we get a line segment, isn't it? So three line segments form a triangle. So a triangle is a plane figure which is bounded by three line segments. Do you understand? So these triangles, I explained the angles in a triangle. What are the types of triangles can be formed? If all the angles are acute, then we say it's an acute angle triangle, or an obtuse angle triangle if one of the angles is obtuse. Right angle triangle if one of the angle is right angle. Then depending upon the sides we named the triangle. Scalene if all the sides are different. Then equilateral when all the sides are equal. When two sides are equal, it is isosceles triangle. Okay, so now let's see the another concept. Before going to this concept, we also discussed about the angle sum property, which states that the sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degree. I told you this is very important. Please do remember, the sum of all angles in a triangle is 180 degrees. So the next concept we are going to see about is a very important concept, that is the concept of congruence. So congruency, I have explained earlier. Congruency means for a line segment. See, for a line segment, if we say two lines are congruent, then that means the line segment are of equal measurement. If I say AB is congruent to CD, then if this is 5 centimeter, this should also be 5 centimeter to be congruent. Okay, so when one line is kept over the other, it exactly covers the previous line. So that is what we say congruent. Okay, so congruent lines have equal measurements. The same way angles. So when do we say two angles are congruent? See, if I write AOB and another angle COD, if the angles, the measure of angles are equal, see if this is 60 degree and if this is also 60 degree, then we say angle AOB, see angle AOB is congruent to angle COD. So here we can write this as AB, line segment AB is congruent to line segment CD. Okay, so this is a symbol for congruency. Likewise, if the measure of angles of both the angles are equal, we say AOB is congruent to COD. Okay, the next thing is regarding circles. So naturally the measurements in the figures has to be equal for the corresponding figures to be congruent. Okay, so what is the measurement in a circle? We have a center, and the minimum requirement is we should know the radius of the circle. If this is the circle C1 and this is circle C2, so the R has to be equal to say that both these circles C1 and C2 are congruent. Do you understand? So congruency means the radius has to be equal in both the circles. So we say C1 and C2 are congruent to each other. The next thing is squares. Likewise, squares, we have squares. For constructing square, we need one side, isn't it? We need A. We should need A. Let us name it as ABCD, square ABCD, and another square PQRS. So if PQRS and ABCD to be congruent, what is the necessity? The side has to be equal. So the squares are congruent when their sides are equal. because we know all the sides are equal in a square, so it is just enough if you say one side is equal. Okay, so if it is a rectangle, for example, if it's a rectangle, then what we need to have, if ABCD is a rectangle and PQRS is another rectangle, then we say both these rectangles are congruent if the corresponding sides, see, because one side AB is lengthier than BC, because BC is breadth and AB is length, isn't it? So AB has to be equal to PQ and BC has to be equal to QR for both the rectangles to be congruent. Do you understand? So the corresponding sides should be equal. It's not that AB is equal to QR or BC is equal to PQ. So the figure will be like this there. So it is not like that. So this will not be congruent to this rectangle, or you should not read it as, the naming is very important in congruency. See, you should write ABCD, the rectangle ABCD is congruent to PQRS. So we say, see, A corresponds to P, B corresponds to Q, C corresponds to R and D corresponds to S. Okay, so the AB, the length AB corresponds to the side PQ and the side BC corresponds to QR and so on. So the naming is also important in defining congruency. If you change the name, see, if you write instead of PQRS, if you write SRQP, if you write SRQP is congruent to ABCD, since it's a rectangle, it's okay because both opposite sides are equal, but the naming should be proper. Okay, the corresponding sides, the side or the points which correspond has to be the same. Okay, do you understand? So next is, now we come to our triangles, and one more point to remember regarding congruent figures is, see, when we say the squares are congruent or the circles are congruent, then we also add another point, that the areas are also equal. When the shapes or figures are congruent, then their areas are also equal. But please note that the converse is not true. Okay, when we say the areas are equal, we cannot have the figures to be congruent. Okay, that I'll explain it to you. See, if this circle has a radius r, and if I say the area is some 22 centimeters square, and the square for square 2, I say the area is 22 centimeters square. Say for example, I take 22 centimeters square. Are these two congruent? Since they have same area, these two circle and square are congruent? No, it is not, isn't it? So circle is entirely different from square. We can't say it's congruent since the areas are equal. But when the figures are congruent, when these two ABCD and PQRS are congruent, we can say their areas are equal. Obviously the areas are equal, isn't it? If I say C1 and C2 are congruent, I can say the areas are equal. Okay, so but we can't say the areas are equal, then the figures or the shapes are congruent. The converse is not true. Okay, so that you should keep in mind. The next thing is the topic of our importance here is triangles. Now we'll see the congruency of triangles. Okay, so triangle, we know it is bounded by 3 line segments. I name it as A, B, C. Now let us define the sides and the angles of a triangle. We know that, but let us define them. See, AB is a side, BC and CA are line segments. They form the sides of the triangle. Okay, they form the sides of the triangle, and similarly the angles. Angle A, you can write it as angle A, or you can also write it as BAC. So angle A, next angle B can also be written as ABC, and angle C are angles of the triangle. Angle C can also be written as ACB or BCA. Okay, so I've written here ABC angles, and AB, BC, CA are sides of the triangle. Now, how do we say that given triangle is congruent to another triangle? So let us define what does the congruency of two triangle mean. See, I draw another triangle here, PQR, and I mark the angles. Okay, so I have another triangle PQR. Okay, so now I define the sides of this triangle PQ, QR and RP. See, it is cyclic actually, PQ, QR, RP. Or I can also write it as PR, RQ and QP. So whatever manner you name the triangles, please do follow the same order for the next triangle. So that is very, very important in congruence. These are sides, angle P, angle Q and angle R, or angles of the triangle. You understand? Now, how do we say that these two triangles are congruent? Okay, and now if you observe, we have 6 parts here. What are the 6 parts in the triangle? 3 sides and 3 angles, isn't it? So we have 6 parts in a triangle, and these 6 parts determine the congruency of a triangle with another. Okay, so now let's see AB and PQ. Take AB and PQ. See, AB, this is the side of triangle 1, and for triangle 2, PQ is this side. Okay, next BC. BC is the base here, and QR also. Now CA and here RP. Now we can say both the triangles, ABC triangle, ABC, and this is triangle PQR. Okay, these two triangles can be said that they are congruent when the sides, corresponding sides, I use the word corresponding, noted, corresponding, that is the side AB corresponds to side PQ here, and side BC corresponds to QR, and side AC corresponds to PR. So the corresponding sides, when the corresponding sides or the corresponding angles, see the angle A, angle P, angle B, angle Q, and angle C, angle R. Okay, so the corresponding sides and the corresponding angles should be equal. But it is not necessary that all the 6 parts to be equal. Okay, so it is not necessary that all the 6 parts to be correspondingly equal to the 6 parts of another triangle. So we will see what are the criteria for congruence. If any 3 parts of the triangle, first triangle, corresponds to the same 3 parts in the second triangle, then we can also say that both the triangles are congruent. So with that in mind, let us define some criteria upon which we say that both the triangles are congruent. Okay, shall we start? Okay, now I said there are 6 parts in the triangle by which we can define congruency of triangles, and we call those 6 parts as CPCT. So this defines the criteria. CPCT defines the criteria for congruency. What is CPCT? It means corresponding parts of corresponding triangles. Okay, so now let's see what are the corresponding parts of the corresponding triangles. So the triangles given or the congruent triangles, we need to prove that they are congruent. Okay, let's see that. I said 6 parts, 3 line segments, 3 sides and 3 angles. Please remember 3 sides and 3 angles, out of which we are going to define some criteria. Okay, so the first one is, let me draw the triangles ABC and PQR. Okay, so these are the 2 triangles. So the first criterion upon which we can say 2 triangles are congruent is the side angle side. side, angle, side. If you see two sides, in between, angle enclosed. So the name itself defines the criteria. Two sides. Let us take two sides, AB and BC. Here, likewise, PQ, the corresponding side. I said the corresponding parts of the corresponding triangle. So this is the side PQ and QR. Let me take. Okay. So this side AB corresponds to, I write AB corresponds to PQ. This means the arrow mark represents corresponds symbol. So then BC corresponds to QR. Now we have two sides. Okay, side and a side, and an angle enclosed between them. See, this is the angle enclosed between AB and BC here, and here this is Q is the angle between PQ and QR. Do you understand? So two sides and angle enclosed between them. So if those two sides, AB corresponding to PQ and BC corresponding to QR, and then angle B corresponds to Q, I've defined. If I see that AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR, and angle B is equal to angle Q, then I say triangle ABC corresponds to triangle PQR. Do you understand? Then I can say that the triangle ABC and triangle PQR are congruent. Do you understand? So according to this criteria, sides and the angle enclosed between them. So it is sufficient if the corresponding three parts, two sides and angle, it is sufficient if we prove the corresponding two sides and the angle enclosed between them are equal for the two triangles to be congruent. Do you understand? So this is one criteria upon which we can define congruency of triangles. The next criterion is ASA. As we defined, the first criteria was two sides and the angle enclosed between them, isn't it? Now it is two angle and the side in between them. Okay, so this is it will be more clear for you now. After defining SAS property, ASA will be easy for you. So R. Okay, so now this is B and C, two angles, and the side in between them is BC here, and it is QR here. Okay, you understand? So if the angles B, C, Q, R are equal, that is angle B is equal to angle Q, angle C is equal to angle R. The corresponding angles, B corresponds to Q and C corresponds to R. If they are equal and the side in between them, BC corresponding to QR, if they are equal, then we say that ABC is congruent to PQR. Now we shall write that angle B corresponds to angle Q, angle C corresponds to angle R, and side BC corresponds to side QR. Then if I have angle B is equal to angle Q, angle C is equal to angle R, and side BC is equal to side QR. When these are equal, then I say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Do you understand? So that is what ASA criterion mean. It is not necessary that these two angles has to be equal every time, only these two angles corresponding angles to be equal. It is not like that. You can have any two angles and the side in between them. Okay, so two angles and the side in between them has to be equal for the triangles to be congruent. So these are the two criteria we have seen now. And the third one is the SSS property. What do you mean by SSS? All the sides. all the three sides has to be equal. No matter, you don't have to see the angles, because if all the sides are equal, then the angles opposite to them are also equal, isn't it? So the sides has to be same for the two triangles, has to be congruent. It is easily understandable. AB corresponding to PQ, BC corresponding to QR, and AC corresponding to PR. Therefore, all the sides, if they are equal, then we say both the triangles are congruent. See, if BC corresponds to QR and AC corresponding to PR, then if we observe that PQ, AB is equal to PQ, BC is equal to QR, and AC is equal to PR, we say that triangle ABC, not angle, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PR. You understand? So now I just want to put a question at this point. If I say SSS is a criterion for side, that is three sides, if three sides correspond to the correspondingly the three sides of another triangle, if they are equal, I say that those two triangles are congruent. Okay, can I say if the angles are equal, AAA will be a criterion or not? I just want to put a question. Will A be a criterion? Or if all the angles are equal, then you can say that two triangles are equal, two triangles are congruent. Can we say that? So think upon it. Until then, I go on to the next criterion. You keep thinking about it, but do carefully listen to the next criterion. We will come to that in the last. Okay. So now, after seeing all the sides to be same or equal for the triangles to be congruent, the next one is, so we saw AAS, SSA, and there is another thing, that is SSA2, not SAS, it is SSA, that is any two sides and an angle to be equal. So first we saw SAS, that is two sides and the angle enclosed between them. Now in this SSA, we have any two sides and an angle to be equal. So we can have any two sides and an angle somewhere else to be equal. Corresponding angle, that is corresponding angle should be equal. See, if we say AB and AC are equal, see, correspondingly PQ and PR we have taken. AB is equal to PQ, AC is equal to PR, and we have some others, that is B corresponding to Q. If B and Q are equal, then we say the two triangles are congruent. Okay, so any two sides, that is AB corresponding to PQ and AC corresponding to PR, angle B corresponding to angle Q. If I observe that AB is equal to PQ and AC is equal to PR and angle B is equal to angle Q, then I say triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Do you understand? Okay, so we can also define congruency between two triangles with this criterion SSA. Okay, so the next one and the last criterion is for a different type of triangle, or maybe for a particular triangle, which is right angle triangle. Okay, so this is right angle triangle. For a right angle triangle, we need to define some terms here. See, this is a right angle. So you first define where the right angle is. So here angle B corresponds to angle Q because they both are 90 degrees. That one is, we know. Okay, we know clearly that angle B corresponds to angle Q because both are right angles, isn't it? The right angle is placed at B and Q in both of the triangles. So that is that one part is fixed. Okay, the next thing is the side opposite to right angle. The side opposite to right angle is always the longest side, we know, because right angle 90 degree is the greatest angle in that triangle. For every right angle triangle, 90 degree will be the greatest angle in the triangle. So whichever angle is greater, your side opposite to that angle will be greater in length too. So this side, which is also known as hypotenuse, we know, we have studied in Pythagoras theorem. So this is hypotenuse, the longest side in the right angle triangle is hypotenuse. So the corresponding hypotenuse in both the triangles, see AC and PR. AC corresponds to PR. So this is hypotenuse, longest side, isn't it? So this has to be equal. AC should be equal to PR. If AC is equal to PR, then any one side. It can be the side AB corresponding to PQ, or it can be the side BC corresponding to QR. Any one side you can take. So let us take BC corresponding to QR. If I observe that BC is equal to QR, then I can say these two triangles are congruent. So what are the things we have observed here? What are the things to be, can be equal? I said one thing is the 90 degree, it is fixed, because both are right angle triangle, we have a 90 degree there. So first is right angle, the next one is the longest side, that is the hypotenuse, has to be same, and next any one side. So right angle, hypotenuse, and any one side. So this criterion is known as RHS criterion. Okay, so then we can say ABC is congruent to triangle PQR. Do you understand? So these are the 5 criterion, including RHS. We have 5 criterion upon which congruence of triangles are determined. So the last question I asked you, whether triple AAA can be a criterion or not. So you would be wondering whether it can be. No, it can't be. Why it can't be? So let us see. So if I say ABC and the same angle has to be constructed, when we say AAA, that is the corresponding angles are equal. If they are equal, then the triangles are congruent. But what I do with the same angle measurement, with the same angular measurement, I draw another triangle. See, I draw another triangle PQR. Let us imagine we have an equilateral triangle 60-60 degree, all are 60-60 degree. Similarly, we have the same 60 degree, not up to scale. Remember, I just take it for an example. I have just put an example here. So if I say this is 60-60 degree equilateral triangle and this is also an equilateral triangle 60-60, see whether they are congruent. Are they congruent? I told you, if they are congruent, if you superimpose the one triangle over the other, the top triangle, the triangle in the top has to cover the triangle below exactly, isn't it? But here in this case, is it so? No, it is not, because the size is different. That is why first I said if the areas are equal, then the congruence, the triangles are not equal. And if the triangles are equal, then the areas has to be equal. So the triangles are not congruent. See, the first thing is the lengths are different. The length of the sides are different. The area is different. Okay, even though the angles are same and angles are equal, the shape of the triangle, the dimensions of the triangle are entirely different. The sides are different, isn't it? So we can't have that AAA, that is all the angles are equal, to be a criterion to determine congruency in triangles. You understand? So that is why we have taken SSS, all the sides to be equal. If all the sides are equal, we have a similar triangle, isn't it? If I have it like this, then I can say if all the sides are equal, then these two triangles are congruent. I can say that, isn't it? Then angles will also be equal simultaneously. But if angles are alone equal, all the angles are alone equal, then the triangles can't be congruent. Okay, so that is why that criterion cannot be taken. If it has to be a criterion, it should obey, the criterion should stand strongly in all the type of triangles. But here it is not so, because we have area different, the dimensions are different, even though the angles are same. Okay, so AAA cannot be a criterion. Do you understand? So that is how we have 5 different criterion to determine the congruency of triangles. Do you understand? So with this I end this class. In the next class we'll be seeing some examples and some problems or exercises. We'll be able to demonstrate all the concepts we have done so far. Angles and property, exterior angles, and then triangle. I mean, the congruency of triangles is very important in this chapter. Congruency of triangles we'll also study there. Okay, so until then, keep practicing. It's bye from Anu. Thank you.